The unexplained story that begins where all your imagination ends.
You ever feel haunted by something? A presence you just can't quite name? A feeling that's so real it actually leaves an ache when it's gone? Well, today, we're stepping into the quiet, mysterious world of a poem that is all about that exact feeling. Let's dive into the beautiful and melancholic Ballad of the Emptiness.
Right off the bat, this poem doesn't ease us in. It just drops us right into this very intimate, very mysterious moment. We're immediately faced with this unknown you, which forces us to ask the big question right from the start. Who is this silent visitor?
And that question, right there, is our first key to unlocking this whole piece. The speaker is visited every single night by someone, or maybe something, that feels so deeply familiar, and yet is a complete and total stranger. So let's try to break down the nature of this mysterious figure. What's so fascinating here is how the poem defines this visitor by what they do, not who they are. They show up in that deep, profound stillness of the night, a time that feels almost sacred. They bring comfort, they bring warmth, but, and this is key, only in the world of sleep. And just as silently as they arrive, poof, they're gone, no trace left behind. It's this perfect, haunting cycle of appearing and then disappearing. So you can't help but wonder about their reality, right? Is this the lingering memory of a lost love? Could it be a ghost? Or is it maybe just a really powerful dream the speaker's own mind has cooked up to cope with some deep, hidden ache? The poem, of course, never tells us, and that ambiguity, that's the whole point. This visitor lives in that fuzzy space between what's real and what's desperately longed for. Okay, so if this figure is so intangible, how in the world do they feel so incredibly real to the speaker? The answer, and it's brilliant, is in the poem's amazing use of sensory detail. The poet literally builds an entire world of sensation around a figure who might not even be there. And listen, this isn't just some vague feeling we're talking about. It is a full-body experience built from the ground up through the senses. The air suddenly smells sweet with jasmine. There are whispers that can literally heal the ache. A sacred sweetness is felt on the lips. The poet uses every single sense to make this encounter totally real, making the visitor's presence absolutely undeniable, even if they can't be seen with open eye. This line is just wow. I mean, look at the intensity here. A touch isn't just warm, it's a fire. Breath isn't just a sound, it's a hymn, something holy, something sacred. And a shadow, which, by definition is an absence of light, somehow has a physical presence. It melts upon my skin. This is exactly how the poem makes an absence feel more real than most things that are actually present. But here's the catch, right? A connection this intense, it has to come at a cost. Every arrival guarantees a departure. And with every single dawn, we hit the central conflict of the poem, this heartbreaking cycle of joy found only in sleep and sorrow found the moment you wake up. And the contrast is just so stark, it's night and day, literally. On one side, the dream brings you companionship, warmth, healing. But on the other, the dawn just brings fading, disappearing, and a loneliness so deep it becomes a friend. The ecstasy of the night only makes the agony of the morning that much deeper. It's this beautiful but really painful symmetry. And right here, the poem takes this fascinating turn. The pain isn't just destructive anymore. It actually becomes a creative force. The tears, they're transformed into ink, carving verses on the soul and writing your name. The experience of loss is literally creating the art, the poem, that we are reading right now. Which leads us to this really powerful idea. Pain becomes art. The speaker's deep sorrow, their incredible longing for this nighttime visitor, it gets transformed into the very ballad we're experiencing. The poem itself is the proof, the evidence of the person who's gone. It's the tangible sign they leave behind, even when the visitor themselves leaves nothing. So all of this brings us to the poem's conclusion, and this is where it offers its most profound and maybe most challenging idea. It doesn't end the cycle of joy and pain. Instead, it redefines what love itself can even be. It presents us with one final powerful paradox. Think about that for a second. How can both of those things be true at the same time? How can you feel someone so incredibly close and yet be so deeply, profoundly lonely? This right here is the heart of the poem's message. The speaker has learned how to hold two completely opposite feelings at once. the absolute certainty of the visitor's spiritual presence, and the harsh reality of their physical absence. And that is what the poem calls love in emptiness. It's a total reframing of what love can be. It's suggesting that a connection doesn't just die when a person is gone. No, instead it can be sustained, maybe even made stronger by the power of memory, by the act of longing, and by the art that this longing creates. It's a love that is defined by the very fact that it's absent.
And so we're left with this final, powerful thought. It's not really a question, it's a declaration. By turning all that pain into art, the speaker discovers a kind of love that's immortal, precisely because it doesn't need physical presence anymore. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if the things that haunt us are also the very things that make our love last forever?
This is just a pause, not the end.